Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we have the Sony Bravia 2. This is a TV that I've been waiting on for a very long time to be able to show you guys, because at the end of the day, a lot of people are really looking for a lot of specs like 144 Hertz, HDMI 2.1, and I'm here to tell you that this TV has none of that. But one thing I can tell you for sure is that Sony's color science is some of the best on the market, and their processing is insane. Let's go and get this TV out of the box so we can take a closer look at it. And I'll tell you that this TV has a lot of great features. As I can see right here, it does Google Cast, Apple AirPlay, Apple HomeKit, and it has what they call 4K reality. And that's something that's been around for Sony for a very long period of time. Now, this TV does come with these 2 feet made out of plastic. And it has this little cool instruction guide all rolled up with all the stuff inside of it, which includes an instruction book, power cord, remote control with the batteries. And it's a standard remote control that has, your basic feature, input, channels, Google voice command, and some hotkeys at the bottom. So this is a pretty basic remote control from Sony. Now on top of this TV, we had this nice little cardboard piece to make sure that the TV is in good shape whenever you get it. And then we have this styrofoam, and we can access the TV right below this. Once you get the straps off the TV, you can lift the box off of the base unit. And as you can see, we have these little plastic pieces on both sides of it. There's also another one in the front of it, and it does have this cardboard on the front of the TV as well. Here's the bottom of the TV, and there's an oval speaker on each side. It's probably around 10 to 15 watts per side. And this is where the feet go in. And keep in mind, there's some screws on the back of it. In the center, there's a press button, and that'll allow you to turn the TV off and change the inputs. And here's the other side. Just let you know, there's like this tunnel. So you want to make sure that's on the bottom, and then you want to slide the foot in just like that. And last step, we're just going to take these screws that's included in the box, and we're going to go ahead and screw this in. And then all you need to do is go ahead and put the screws in on the other side, and we're all set. So here's the back of the TV, and it has a little bit different design than I've seen before. On top of it has this metal chassis, and down here it's got that signature Sony checkerboard look for it. Over here is where we're going to plug in the power cord, and I like the fact that this TV has a removable power cord. There's some screw holes right here so you can easily mount it on the wall, and over here we have all your inputs. Here's the connections on the back of the TV, and that consists of 2 USB 2.0s, and I'm surprised it doesn't have a 3.0. We also have a optical output, 4 HDMIs, and input number 3 is for eARC for running up to your soundbar. You also have an Ethernet connection, RS-232 port, our sensor input, and this one does have your standard ATSC TV tuner, not the 3.0 version. And I want to show you the distance on the feet on the 65-inch version, and you need about 47 inches. Now, if you want to add a soundbar on this television, this is going to be roughly about 2.5 inches, and it's not adjustable. When you first get this TV, you will notice there's some cardboard here on the front of it, and we're going to take that off, and below it there's some tape on there, but not much at all. So just going to pull these little ends off. I've already did the bottom. And note, this is a plastic material on this side to make sure the TV doesn't get scratched. And note here, Sony also put these little rubber pieces around the corner of the screen, so they're really trying to protect the televisions when it gets shipped. And here's another look at the design. As you can see, the feet sticks out a little bit from the front of the television. There's a Sony logo in the corner of it, and this TV is a little bit thicker because it uses direct backlight. The Bravia 2 is available from a 43-inch all the way up to a 75-inch, and looking at the viewing angles, it looks like this TV uses a IPS panel and not a VA panel, just because I can see the TV off axis. And this TV does have some decent anti-reflection, as you can see right here. And even with all the lights on in the room, I could barely see myself in the reflection. So that gives you an idea how this TV performs as far as glare. Here's a couple of highlights from the review video that I'm working on, but I want to show you the picture quality on this television. And one thing that I can tell you for sure is that this TV has amazing picture when it comes to colors, but I can definitely see the backlight, especially when you get off angles. So just be aware of that this is not the inkiest television, and mainly because it doesn't have mini LED or local dimming zones. Now for you gamers out there, I did check the input lag and I was getting around 9.3 milliseconds, which is pretty good for a television. And I want to show you the settings in some of the gaming consoles as well. And just so you know, this TV does have a game bar in it. It's not as advanced as some of the other TVs that I've seen, but you do have blur reduction, black equalization, a crosshair that you can have in the center of the screen. And this is nice to have, but I wish it was more advanced like the higher end models. So here we are in the PS5, and keep in mind this TV has automatic tone mapping when it comes to the PlayStation, so it's going to set up all the colors for you automatic. This is a 60 Hz television, so as you can see here, it will support 4K, but keep in mind it doesn't support variable refresh rate, but it will support HDR, and that's for the 1080p signal as well. And also want to point out that this TV does not support 1440p when it comes to the PS5. Now we're inside the Xbox and you can see that it does support 4K. Under TV details, you can see that it only supports 60 Hz and it does not support Dolby Vision gaming. Under the video modes, you can see that it does support the auto low latency, but it doesn't support variable refresh rate, and it does support HDR10 and HDR. Now this is not recommended, but I'm just going to see if we can get 1440 out of this TV by overriding the HDMI settings. And after overriding the system, it will support 1440p at 60 Hz, but let's try to see if it'll do 120. And even though this is a 60 Hz television, on the Xbox, if you override it, we're able to get 120 Hz, but what do we lose? By doing this, you're going to lose all the Xbox settings, such as the auto low latency, as well as the HDR settings.
Keep my bay.
So when you're setting this TV up, make sure you have your antenna plugged in, your gaming console, cable box, whatever you have. But here's the starting menu. And I can say that this TV does have a lot of different languages built right into it, so you can pretty much select any kind of menu that you want. Once you choose your language, go ahead and choose your region. And as you can see here, there's all type of regions built in here as well. So Sony's really setting this up for just about anyone to use. If you don't want to hook your TV up to Wi-Fi, you just want to use antenna and inputs, you can set this up as a basic television, but we're going to set it up as a Google TV. Now, normally I scan the Google Home app, which you can see right here. All you need to do is just scan it on the phone and then you can log right in from the app. But for most people, we're going to just use the remote control instead. The first thing you want to do is find your Wi-Fi and enter the password. Now I'm using the 2.4 gigahertz, but you can use the 2.5 if you're close to your router because it will provide better speeds. Once it connects to Wi-Fi, just go ahead and enter your Gmail account. And keep in mind, you can create an account here at the bottom if you don't have one. Now you want to read through all the terms and conditions and hit accept if you're okay with everything. And also read through these Google services as well. If you have any of these applications that you want the TV to pre-install, just select the ones that you want, and then you can hit confirm. Once all that's done, we're going to now enter all the information for the Sony experience. First of all, you have some license agreements. Make sure you read through everything, and you have some privacy policies. Now, if you want to have control of the television, you can if you want to save energy, I recommend you choose one of these power savings, but I'm going to turn it off for this particular demo. And you can also set up the voice recognition for the Google voice commands. Now, one thing about the Sony TVs, you have to put a parental control on it, which I find to be very odd, but I'll just put in 4 ones just so I know later on. Now, if you have an antenna plugged in, you can go ahead and do the setup. Next, it'll scan for channels. And just so you know where my studio is located, I don't have access to outside channels. Now, if you have other devices plugged in, you can go ahead and configure it. I'm gonna go ahead and set up the PlayStation, hit done, and it'll automatically configure it. Now, this is my selector box where I have some other devices plugged into it, so we're not gonna configure that. And then you wanna go ahead and hit press finish. If you're not adding a soundbar, you can set the TV up for top table stand or wall mount, and it'll adjust the speakers for you. And just note here, you can use your Google account to register a TV, but this is a demo unit, so we're gonna move on. Just so you know, this TV does support Apple AirPlay and HomeKit. And you can also set this TV up to interact with you. So I'll just accept everything. Like I said earlier, this is a demo TV. Make sure you select the different formats that works for you. Now, Sony has their own TV service and it's called Sony Picture Core. The great thing is you get 5 free movies to use for up to 12 months. Sony also has a mobile application where you can control the television, you can scan that barcode, and you can download the application. And it does have accessibility features as well. Once you get everything in, the TV is now done. Now, another thing about this TV is that you can add your own Google Photos to it. You can create multiple picture profiles, and it does have a kid feature for safe content. Here's a Google interface, and it takes a second to load up, but overall, once it loads up, it's pretty quick, as you can see right here. You also have access to live TV, and if you get channels in your area, this is where they will show up. Plus, you have Google TV Free Play, where you can watch streaming content if it's hooked up to Wi-Fi. This TV also supports the Google App Store, where you can download all types of content, and this is where you'll find the Sony Picture Core, as well as Sony Bravia. And if you have a PS4 or PS5, you also can do PS Remote Play, where you can play it through the television, and you can hook up a Bluetooth controller to the TV as well. You also have features like the Eco Dash, TV controls for smart speakers. You can set up timers and clocks, and there's a media player built right in. And for some other features, we have a screensaver built in, and this is called ambient mode. So you always have something on the screen whenever you're not using the television. And you have different options at the bottom. And there's some other features that you can go directly to as far as your inputs, your picture, Wi-Fi, accessibility, and Bluetooth. Now, under channels and inputs, this is where you can set up all your devices. You can also control your CEC, so it can power your TV off and on with your gaming consoles. And this is a feature you should be aware of, and it's called HDMI signal format. Let's say, for example, you would hook a gaming console up to input 1. If it's on standard format, it's not going to give you the 4K capability, so you'll manually have to go over here and adjust it. But I will tell you, most gaming consoles will switch automatically. Just something I want you to know. And it does have plenty of picture settings, and we'll go over that on the main review. You can also change the aspect ratio of the screen. But just note here, sometimes this is only adjustable from external sources. And this TV does have some different surround sound settings built right into it, including the EQ. And it's powered by the Android 12 operating system. For our storage, we're looking at 7.9 gigabytes, which is not a lot, but it's enough for most applications. And under power and energy, this is important because if you use a cable box or something like that, you want to switch this over to last input used so the TV doesn't always go back to the home screen automatically. If you have an Android device, you can connect to the television and cast your screen. You have parental control. You can also turn off the LED on front of the TV if you like. Here's the Apple AirPlay and HomeKit settings. And this remote control is ran by Bluetooth, and that's how you get the voice command. And the great thing is that it connected automatically. And if you need to, this is where you could connect different devices such as headphones or external controller for that PS gaming. At this point in time, I don't want to give you my true opinion on this television because there's a little bit more testing that I want to do. But let's be honest, $650, $699. This TV doesn't have a lot of features that some TVs close to it does have. For example, this is a 60 hertz television. For $100 more, you can get a 144 hertz television. This TV doesn't have a full game bar. It doesn't support AMD FreeSync. So there's a lot more out there on the market. So I'm still kind of wondering what I really think and what place this TV has in the marketplace. One thing I will say for sure, if you watch a lot of movies, this TV does have a great picture, but it comes at a cost of not having inky black levels like you would get on a television with mini LED. But don't hold my feet to the fire. I'm working on the full review so I can really get a chance to go over everything this TV has to offer. And it might be the right TV for you, especially if you're a Sony fan. That's all I have on this one. I'm Tech Steve. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.